Hello, I'm Sri from CBTU. CBTU presents a course on Amazon Web Services. Section Amazon Elastic Container Service ECS using AWS Fargate. Elastic Container Service is under compute. Amazon Elastic Container Service ECS is highly scalable, high performance container orchestration service that supports Docker containers. It allows you to easily run and scale containerized applications on AWS. It eliminates the need for you to install and operate your own container orchestration software, manage and scale a cluster of virtual machines, or schedule containers on those virtual machines. With simple API calls, you can launch and stop Docker enabled applications, query the complete state of your application, and access many features. Amazon ECS is container management service to run, stop, and manage Docker containers on a cluster. Host your cluster on serverless infrastructure using the Fargate launch type, or host tasks on a cluster of Amazon EC2 instances using EC2 launch type. Create a consistent deployment and building experience, manage and scale batch and ETL workloads, and build sophisticated application architectures on a microservices model. You can use Amazon ECS to schedule the placement of containers across your cluster based on your resource needs. Amazon ECS eliminates the need for you to operate your own cluster management and configuration management systems or worry about scaling your management infrastructure. Amazon ECS features AWS Fargate to deploy and manage containers without having to provision or manage servers. With Fargate, you no longer have to select Amazon EC2 instance types, provision and scale clusters of virtual machines to run containers or schedule containers. Containerize everything. Amazon ECS lets you easily build all types of containerized applications from long running applications and microservices to batch jobs and machine learning applications. Amazon ECS is highly secure as it launches your containers in your own VPC, allowing you to use your own VPC security groups and network ACLs. Amazon ECS is highly scalable service and it's very much integrated with all AWS services like ELB, VPC, IAM, CloudWatch, CloudFormation, etc. Build images and store using ECR or any other repository. This is Amazon ECS. Define your application and select suitable container images and resources needed for your application. Amazon ECS launch type determines the type of infrastructure on which your tasks and services will be hosted. There are two launch types. You can launch containers or Amazon EC2, and this allows you to run your containerized applications on a cluster of Amazon EC2 instances that you manage. You can launch your containers on AWS Fargate. Fargate launch type allows you to run your containerized applications without the need to provision and manage the backend infrastructure. This is serverless infrastructure. Just register your task definition and Fargate launches the container for you. And then finally manage containers. Amazon ECS scales your application and manages your containers for availability. With AWS Fargate, you run containers without managing servers or clusters. AWS Fargate is a compute engine for Amazon ECS and EKS that allows you to run containers without having to manage servers or clusters. This is one of the two launch types, the other being EC2 launch type. So the workflow is build a container image, define the images for the Amazon ECS, select AWS Fargate launch type, which manages all of the underlying container infrastructure, and launch containers. AWS Fargate runs your containers for you, and you manage containers for application scalability and availability. AWS Fargate on Amazon ECS. Use AWS Fargate with Amazon ECS to run containers without having to manage servers or clusters of EC2. This is AWS Management Console. Let us select Elastic Container Service under Compute. Let us get started. You can run containers at scale. It's a flexible container placement and very well integrated and extensible service. Let us get started. Let us take a demo of Amazon ECS using Fargate. Amazon ECS architecture. It contains containers, task definitions, task scheduling, clusters, container agent, ECS objects and their relation to each other. We define the container here and the task definitions and the services and this as a whole cluster. To deploy applications on Amazon ECS, your application must be ready to run in containers. A Docker container is a standardized unit of software development containing everything that your software application needs to run code, runtime, system tools, system libraries, etc. Containers are created from a read-only template called an image. Images are typically built from Docker file, a plain text file that specifies all the components that are included in the container. Fargate launch type supports using containers hosted in Amazon ECR or publicly on Docker Hub. Choose an image for your container to get started. You can define your own container image or define the container image to use. We can choose one of the image for our container or we can define our custom image. Let us go with sample app. Next is task definition. The task definition is a text file in JSON format that describes one or more containers that form your application. A task definition is a blueprint for your application and describes one or more containers through attributes. We have selected sample app and the task definition name. We can edit task definition. This is task definition name and the network mode AWS VPC. Network mode Docker networking mode AWS VPC. Task execution role. Let us go with this role. Compatibilities. That is launch type. Now in this case it is Fargate. Task size allows you to size the task level and optionally set container specific CPU and memory sizes. You are billed for the task memory and task CPU allocated. Task memory 0.5 GB and task CPU 0.25 vCPU. This is fine for our demo. Let us save. Click next. Now in this demo we are launching a sample web application using containers. Next step is define your service. A service allows you to run and maintain specified number of simultaneous instances of task definition in an ECS cluster. Service name, sample app service, number of desired tasks, 1. It automatically creates a new security group and we can edit if you want. Define service. A service allows you to run and maintain a specific number of simultaneous instances of task definition in an ECS cluster. Let us edit this. Service name, sample app service, number of desired tasks, 1. A security group is created to allow all public traffic to your service on the port specified in container. Let us go with the default options and port 80. Next is elastic load balancing. Optionally, you can select ELB, elastic load balancing. ELB distributes incoming traffic across tasks running in your service. Default option is none, and if you select ELB, the options are load balancer listener port 80 and protocol HTTP. Click advanced. LCheck path is port 80, that is root. For now, let us go with none. Save. Click Next. Now the final step, configure your cluster. The infrastructure in a Fargate cluster is fully managed by AWS. Your containers run without managing and configuring individual Amazon EC2 instances. Cluster name, let us go with this. VPC ID, automatically create new, and subnets, automatically create new. Let us go with the defaults. Click Next. Let us review the configuration. Click Create. AWS resources are being provisioned and may take a couple of minutes. 9 of 9 services are complete. Let us view the service. This is cluster info. This is the service name and this is task definition. This is the task and it's running. Metrics. We have created our container just so it will take a couple of minutes before these metrics appear here. And you can schedule tasks as well. This is the Amazon ECS cluster created using Fargate. This is the detailed view of resources on our cluster. Running task count 1 Fargate. In another session, we'll be doing EC2 launch type. This is the sample service. This is the task. Auto scaling. Deployments. Metrics. Logs. This is the task definition. View detailed information on our task definition. You can modify the task definition and make a new revision. Amazon Elastic Container Registry is a fully managed Docker container registry that makes it easy for developers to store, manage, and deploy Docker container images. Amazon Elastic Container Service Pricing. There are two launch types for Amazon ECS that we have seen. One is Fargate launch type model and another is EC2 launch type model. With Fargate, you pay for the amount of virtual CPU and memory resources that your containerized application requires. This is Fargate pricing. Per vCPU per hour 0.05 and per GB per hour $0.0127. Pricing is per second with a 1 minute minimum. And the second one is EC2 launch type model. There is no additional charge for EC2 launch type. You pay for the AWS resources like EC2 instances or EBS volumes you create to store and run your applications. You only pay for what you use, and there are no minimum fees and no upfront commitments. Okay, this is our cluster. When you don't need the service anymore, you free up the resources. To save on the billing, let us delete the cluster. Yes, we want to delete. It will take a couple of minutes. Let us come back to this after a while. Amazon EC2 pricing, Amazon ECS architecture, Amazon ECS dashboard, getting started wizard. Yes, cluster is deleted. Let us delete this as well. Let us deregister this. It's inactive now. Thanks for watching.